Hi, Michael. Last time out against New England, you spoke after the match about wanting to create an atmosphere and identity and something that supporters could connect with. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp is a big inspiration for you. I'm sure you heard of his turning doubters into believers speech. Is there a similar mission statement for you?
We want to play football and compete in a way that every single time we step on the field, anybody who's watching us, our fans, they they look on the field and they see a team that represents them in the best way. A team that is aggressive, a team that is fearless, a team that steps on the field no matter who the opponent, no matter where, to try to put the game on our terms and to try to go after things in a really strong way. We want to play good football. We want to score goals. We want to be a team that tries to combine, you guys have heard me say it, the traditional foundation of Red Bull football in terms of intensity, in terms of pressing, in terms of counter pressing. How can we combine that with when we have the ball? Really good ideas, ways to make chances, ways to score goals. And so, part of all of that then is how does that connect with the mentality of the team? How does that connect with our spirit? And so, yeah, we're trying to put all of that together in a way where, again, we have a team that steps on the field every single weekend ready to go after things in a really strong way.
Next, we go to Joe.
Hey, Michael, hope you're well. I was just wondering if you could maybe delve into the decision-making process regarding Matthew Dos Santos, and maybe if you can just expand a little bit on how important this message of if you're in form, you're going to play. How important is that? Thanks.
Yeah, Maddie is a young player who has come through our academy, played with the second team, and has continued to grow and improve every step along the way. I had him for 6 months with the second team last year. When I first got here, he was fighting his way through a little bit of an injury, and so it meant that in my initial period here, he wasn't on the field every week, and he and I had a bunch of conversations in that time that just said, look, this is what it means to be in a competitive environment. This is what it means to be a pro, where you've got to just keep pushing and keep going. You have to understand your time is coming, but for right now, the team is going in a good way, and the guys in your position are doing well. And so he, for a young player, took that in a really good way, didn't bat an eye, just kept pushing himself every single day. And then obviously, got himself back on the field and played really well as we went into the end of the season and into the playoffs. And when we started this year, you guys have heard me say this. He did not travel with us to the first training camp in Bradenton, because we still had a number of other left backs, and so we had him stay here. He trained a little bit with the under-18s. He started with the second team, and then when we got back from the first trip, we know the football he has. We know the qualities. We know for a young guy how into it he is every day. And so we wanted to then get him a period with us when we got back. And from that first day, he really showed that he was a guy that we needed to be thinking about in a more serious way, faster than maybe we even expected. We know Matty's quality. We knew that as the season goes on, that he was a guy who was gonna get a lot of good days training with the first team and start to move himself along. But when we brought him into first team training, he showed that it was all going to move a little faster than we had thought. And so he established himself in a good way, rose to the level of training and the level of a competition at every moment. And when we got to the beginning of the season, we felt like he had earned the right to be on the field. And so, the second part of your question is simple. We try to create training every day that is fast and dynamic and competitive and as close to the game as possible in every way. We challenge individuals and we challenge the group to be able to take our ideas and bring them to life every single day, to see things faster, to think quicker, to be able to execute better as everything gets cranked up. And the value of that is we create real game actions every day that now give us a real ability to see where guys are and to then ultimately, as we move through weeks, make decisions in terms of who needs to be on the field and who's in the best form in that given moment. And so we're going to continue on this path, and I ultimately believe that is the best way to improve individuals and to have a team that is can hold up in the best ways when the games get really hard.
Next we go to Dan.
Hi, Michael. Hope you're doing well today. Audrey Mehmeti, I know you've seen him already with the 2 team when you came over this past June, and now he's got 2 matches under his belt in the MLS regular season. I mean, I know you know it's about him, but what makes you smile within yourself to see how well he's adjusted going from the 2 team to the first team and being so active in the goal contribution department?
Yeah, the goal contribution department is an added bonus, especially in the ways that they have come, to really good, clever assists on set pieces. But obviously, that is, we don't set out to necessarily have him be in the middle of every one of those, especially the one in Orlando. That's a little bit of a second phase that then he's able to use his skill and his quality and make a little bit of room for himself and then get the ball across to Jules. The one against New England, obviously he's running in a good spot and gets the little flick. But again, that's the bonus. The football that he brings, the way that he can help us get our game in motion. He is always trying to find spaces to be able to play, to be able to link the defense to the attack. When he receives balls, his ability to quickly see the next play and in a really sharp, efficient way receive, and then either on the second touch play a pass right through the next line, or use a quick second touch to then prepare the pass on the third touch. Like his brain is the wheels are spinning fast, and so his ability to again find ways to help us play football, find ways to help us play through lines, to play from inside out, to be available then as we move outside, finding the right space to get us off of one side and then into the next space. Like for a young guy, he has real football intelligence, and the part that goes with all of that, and I've said this before, is he's not afraid of a thing. He's ready in every moment to play, to compete. He wants the ball. If a play doesn't work, he wants the ball again. And he has really picked up on some of the things defensively that we've talked about. The part, having been in our academy for a long time, just the starting points of his aggression and his willingness to work and to counterpress, that part is there. And then last year when we tweaked things a little bit with the second team and started playing more 4-3-3, started playing with a single holding midfielder as opposed to two, yeah, that changes the calculation of certain plays a little bit. And so, he and I spent good amount of time looking at different plays, watching other really good players in his position, trying to give him a good understanding of what certain situations look like in there, and his ability to watch and listen and learn and apply all of that has been really, really good.
Next, go to Christian.
Coach, how's it going?
Good, thanks.
I was kind of curious. Justin made a good point. He was just talking with us. When it comes to sort of a lot of the stars in this sport, really, in the last couple of years, a lot of them are really young, even teenagers. And for you, I'm just kind of curious, what do you think is kind of the rise in maybe the fact that there are so many young guys that are becoming stars in this sport, not even just this league, but in this sport? And is there something, especially having worked with the second team last year, that you noticed about just some of these younger group of players, that maybe there's a different maturity level to them? Maybe there's something that in your mind has kind of contributed to why they're so, the ability for them to make that jump is so, it seems almost easy at some points.
I mean, look, the part of young players in football establishing themselves, breaking through, I don't think that's anything new necessarily. I think if you go back, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you'd find examples of really talented young players that at a young age then get an opportunity and show that they have quality and show that they have a fearless mentality to go with it, and that's that. And so we're lucky that we have a really strong academy here. This area in terms of young talent, diversity of talent, different profiles, people at all levels who love the game. That part is the starting points are so good, and if you look then specifically at some of the young players that we have here, big credit would have to go to their families, and big credit would have to go to the people inside the club who have played really big and active roles in their development from the time they came into the academy at really young ages. And so we've made it very clear that developing young players and then giving them opportunities is a part of who we are. It's a part of the Red Bull identity, and we want to be a club that makes it known that if you're a young player and you are growing and improving and you have the right mentality and you continue to move yourself along in the right way, there's a real path to a first team opportunity here. And nothing is given, nothing is guaranteed. We again try to make an environment every day that is competitive and really challenges players. But again, if we get the right mix of players here and who come in with the right mentality every day and enjoy that part and understand that is going to make them better, then we feel good about the possibilities of putting all that together in a good way.
Next, we'll go to James.
Thank you for the time, Michael. Just sticking on the theme of young talent here, Julian Hall has shown an incredible level of maturity in the first two matches of the season, not just because he scored 3 goals, but because in the way he scored those 3 goals has been able to sniff out dangerous chances. Didn't have to do anything individually spectacular to get 3 goals, but has been in the right place at the right time. What do you attribute that match game intelligence to for Julian?
Yeah, look, when it comes to Jules, we're all really, really excited for him that now at the beginning of the season he's been able to get some goals. Obviously, the goals help us win games, and that part is really important. Goals are really important for any attacking player, especially a young attacking player that now is trying to establish himself and grow confidence. And so that part is awesome. Honestly, the part of Julian's game and his what a lot of people don't even see, or what goes unnoticed, is the work against the ball, the pressing, the running, the sprinting, the chasing from top down to make life miserable for the other team's midfielders. He has been relentless in those ways, and so that part makes such a difference. When you're a team that wants to be aggressive and wants to press and wants to go after the other team as high on the field as possible, you need attacking players, the front line, to lead that and to give the impulse and to be ready in every moment to chase and follow their press and just go and go and go, because that sends the signal to everybody else on our team. That makes it clear for everybody what we're doing. And so that part of Julian's game and his the work and his commitment and his just relentlessness, that part has made a huge difference for us.
Everyone, we have time for 2 more questions with Coach. First, go to Luca, and then we'll finish up with Sean. Luca, you have the floor.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for your time. I'm just curious, yesterday there was the announcement of Greg Matheson joining the coaching staff as assistant coach and head of match analysis. Curious what those early conversations have been like, what you're envisioning his role will be, and what he brings to the organization.
Yeah, we're really excited to have Greg with us. He and I have had a lot of really good conversations going back months, and he is somebody that we know is going to add a huge amount to our team and to our staff. His experience at Liverpool for many years with Jurgen will be really, really important in terms of his understanding of what we want Red Bull football to be going forward. And so that part that part we're going to use in a big way. He has come in a very short amount of time and settled into the club and into the group in such a good way. And so, as a young coach, the part of having a really good mix of people around me, people with different personalities, different experiences, different backgrounds, honestly slightly different ways of seeing the game, all under the context of who we are and ultimately the football that we're going to play. And so that part is great. I couldn't be more excited to have Greg with us, and we're going to find really good ways as a staff to make sure that we complement each other and are doing everything we can to help the players and the team.
And we'll finish up with Sean.
Michael, I know you alluded to this earlier. Is the healthiest ingredient for a club having a competition for places, having players fighting and training for a first team place? Is that what makes the team just a really strong unit from top to bottom, and that players know at some point they might be out of the first 11, they might be out of the squad, but at some point you're going to call on them across the stretch of a 34-game season?
It's certainly one of the important ingredients. You are working every day to find this perfect balance between an environment that is competitive, an environment that is demanding, an environment that challenges the players to improve individually, that also again, creates situations for the groups of players, the relationships to grow, so that collectively as a team, our idea of football, the idea that we want to play, the idea of who we are continues to grow and get better. So you're trying to find a balance of that and this part of creating an environment that people are proud of, that people enjoy walking through the doors every single day because they know they're surrounded by a lot of good people. They're surrounded by a lot of good people that care about them. They're surrounded by people that share the same motivation, that share the same, drive. And ultimately, that comes together in a way where we all enjoy each other, enjoy what we're doing, love the time together, love the time on the field. And so you're trying to find the perfect balance, the perfect mix of all of that. You can't have one without the other, because you're missing a big chunk at that point. And so we're at the beginning. We're still a young team, new team in the early stages of now our development, but we think all feel really good about the foundation that we're building, and we're going to continue to come in every day ready to work, ready to improve, ready to challenge each other, and ultimately enjoy doing it.